Well, hey, everybody, welcome back to another live stream here. Shower door professionals. We are just getting started here, and yeah, so I just want to welcome you if you haven't been here before. Of course, everybody here looks pretty familiar. Yeah, there's Brad in the waiting room. I'm going to let him in because that's just the kind of guy I am. So yeah, I don't know if there's anything really we need to talk about. Christina, is there anything you want to jump in and talk about?
Sure. We had a really good meeting with Audrey and Roland, who are from the Georgia Cooperative Development Center. And Audrey is a CPA that specializes in accounting for cooperatives. And Roland is an attorney who specializes in legal for cooperatives. And they are helping us at a steep discount and a little bit pro bono to get our bylaws off the ground, get us moving in the right directions. They're answering tons of questions for us. And we met with them yesterday morning. And we'll meet with them again next week. They've been very comprehensive. They've given us awesome notes. We're thankful for them. And once we get all of the bylaws and everything hashed out, member agreements written and all that good stuff, that'll be another step in the right direction to make this feel a little bit more official and have all of our ducks in a row. And then we'll really be working on the website and getting all of our business pages up and running, vetting new members, getting our blogs going, getting our pictures going, and whatever else that we as a collective decide makes sense for the cooperative. So we have a little bit of office maintenance to do, I guess, as far as writing the bylaws, but we'll be cooking with gas shortly. So I hope that is a good update for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a lot to it. I mean, we got together to go over it on Tuesday. We got about halfway through it. So it was it's a lot, man. Be glad when this is over. But thanks for all of your leadership, and you are really I'm really impressed by you, Christina. You really bring it. You know, when you become dedicated to something, you are really like a pit bull. So glad you're on my good side. Thanks for all the stuff you do. It's awesome. So anyways, that's that. What do you guys want to talk about?
You have an agenda?
I have no agenda.
I always try and think of stuff for you, Chris.
I know. I mean, that's what I appreciate about you, Bill.
It's like Wednesday morning. I start thinking, what's Chris going to talk about tonight? So
Does anybody have a... Oh, go ahead.
I'll start the ball rolling. While I'm listening to Christina, I was also scrolling through my Facebook. I don't know if you guys get stuff like this. Let me see if you can see it. I'll hold it back where it shows up. But if you can see, there's a guy's name, and it says frameless shower glass, $800. Doesn't say install, doesn't say with hardware, doesn't say anything. It's just like a clickbait, but it's some unlicensed guy, just enough to see if he can get anybody to click through. So I was playing with somebody last night as if I didn't know what was going on. And I said, okay. I mean, it was like a Cambridge with a return and another return. So it could be like a self-standing one in the middle of the thing. And he said, shower glass, $100. So I texted him. I said, is it still available? Which is the default that they give you. And he said, yes. Do you need me to measure? And I said, no, I want to buy that as $100. He said, well, I must measure. And I said, why? I'm going to build the space to fit the glass. So I just played him along. I said, how thick is it? How tall is it? What kind? He must have caught on at some point, because then he says, oh, you must be confused. No, I'm not really confused. picture here says $100. How do I get it? Matter of fact, I might want to order 5.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. And so I don't know. Do you guys get that also?
Well, you get that on Facebook where people are selling something.
Yeah, this is
Marketplace,
Facebook
it'll say
Market.
one, it'll
It's
say $1.
Marketplace. Yeah.
And you click on it, you know.
So what are the ramifications? I mean, does the government get involved and say, hey, this is advertising, it's fraudulent advertising? Is it bait and switch? I mean, there are laws against it. There always have been, but seems like nobody's following it. Or has the world changed now where laws really don't matter anymore?
Yeah, we've got a guy in our area that
glass.
does the same thing. He doesn't do it that low. He'll go like, $400, $500 to $600, but it's basically the same thing. But we're talking same type of picture, door and side panel. Sometimes he'll throw in like a semi-frameless like corner unit, but it's all the same type of stuff. And then you go on the page, because I'm trying to see if he's like connected to like a company, because we tried selling some stock doors on there, but the price that I have listed is the price that we're selling it for. So it's a little bit more legit. But yeah, the way that they're selling it is like what you're explaining, where it's like, no, this is what you're getting installed, let me know what you need and I got it for this price kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's a little frustrating because there's like, I think like 2 or 3 of them in my area that are selling the same way on Facebook.
So I've been talking to my marketing teams like, okay, how do we combat this? Not that they're a big player and I shouldn't even be wasting time over it. It's just annoying as hell because the timing is I just finished my 14 hours of continuing education for my license. So on top of giving up 14 hours of my time and then having to pay the state for my license, you got these jerks that are actually hurting the industry posting this crap. So, and I don't want to be that guy that comes out and says, oh, watch out for unlicensed guys, because then you look like you're the jerk, right? You're complaining about little kids. So there's a way of combating it, but I was just wondering if anybody's had that and had to get to that level to try and combat it. No.
Yeah.
No, nothing yet.
I really think too that it comes down to Facebook meta, I guess, policing their marketplace a little bit more, because people do the same thing in a lot of industries and they do the same things with cars, and it is infuriating because it almost makes Facebook Marketplace unusable. And that's not what Facebook as a company wants, and they have the resources to police things like that. So in my opinion, it's on them. And hopefully they will. I don't know how to report something like that, but it's possible that you could report it as fraudulent or spam.
This is where we may need to pick on Robert. He might have that expertise with those social media platforms, because just getting a phone number to speak to somebody in English is not easy.
No.
I mean, I had to reset password and it was almost impossible.
It is, you can report every post and people do prefer to. There's a whole wave of people across the industries who hate what resellers of collectibles, resellers of shirts, all different people that sell through Facebook Marketplace. And the legitimate ones do make it a point to report those people, report them for bad profiles, report them for spam, all of that, because all those are legitimate complaints. But in my experience, Facebook doesn't use the AI that they are pushing on us. I literally just wrote a Facebook post about this yesterday, about how as soon as I post something about me being hacked, a profile being hacked, and I use the words hacked and spam and I hate this and why aren't their policies better, my comment threads on my post are filled with about 10, 15 people suggesting who I should go contact about my hacked profile, because the actual hackers are using AI to scan posts to look for keywords so they can know who to attack. So my question to Facebook was, hey, you're pushing AI in all of our faces. Why aren't you using AI to scan your posts of anyone that says, hey, this is a Facebook admin, I'm from Facebook support, please click this link to update your page because you have violated terms. I already feel like I've said too much. So I'm gonna back up and say Mark Zuckerberg is awesome. Facebook is great. Instagram is awesome. And WhatsApp is super cool. But I wish they use the AI they're promoting to us in their own business instead of the opposite. Because when you get hacked, if you own a company page and somebody in your platform that has access gets hacked by clicking a fake link, and then they get into your ad account and they run ads for China hardware, Nigerian hardware, Russian, whatever, whoever it is that hacked your account from you having the same password across 17 of your profiles. But that's either here or there. When you do that and the hackers get in and they run up your ad account from whatever you're access to, they go after the owner or the people who are the admin. And then after they completely block my profile and make me update my ID, make me submit verification of who I am, because I did not do that. And they verified, oh, it looks like you were hacked. After we proved who I was, they then sent me an email saying all of your profiles are gone. They took my WhatsApp, they took my Facebook, they took my Instagram, and the 15, 20 years of posts I made. And they sent me an email file with about 15 megabytes of small pieces of what I had posted, and case closed. And that is how I feel Facebook feels towards it. I don't think they have an interest in protecting us. I shouldn't say too much. I don't feel like, I feel like it's a great business for people to accidentally get hacked and run up ad accounts and then have to fight from the back, from behind the line. It's a super cool business model. I don't think Facebook's doing it, but I don't think they have a problem either with the marketplace, because it makes people flood in to use their platform, and then they're able to say in their stock market report to the stock owners how many users that have increased, how many people are using these, how many services, how many comments they have. So I think on the surface level, these are numbers that look really great to their shareholders, and that's the only ones that matter. And we just got to navigate these shark waters, understanding that our complaints don't really matter as much, but we do have to pivot to how we talk and educate customers. Why $1 showers are no good. Read my article. Something like that. I think that's the only thing we can do is push content in the opposite direction of what value is, what it looks like, and why you should worry about these people. But Facebook's awesome. Once again, they're great. Super cool.
Well, the thing is, they have AI, but I think right now in an election season, they're using it for different purposes, because you click on somebody's link that you happen to like and you're shut down. I mean, right now I cannot go live for another 32 days. And it was because I liked somebody. I didn't post anything.
Don't be liking stuff, Bill. What did I
I'm
tell
sorry.
about that?
Sorry.
Don't be liking stuff. Yeah, they're using AI to do those deep fakes to make Joe Biden look like he's senile.
Yeah, that's those fake posts that are out there. Yeah, I heard about that.
Yep, yeah. Really, he's actually a genius, but they've got this.
Yeah, they all are. Such a great program. I'm not even here right now.
Yeah.
The good news is, I think when we run into customers, they've already spent thousands on tile. They already spent $2,000 on a shower fixture that they thought was going to be $300 when they first started shopping. So when somebody posts a $100 shower door or $500 shower door, they know it's not correct. So we haven't been affected by that much. We occasionally get the call, oh, I heard you'll install a Lowe's door. How much would you charge to install this door or that door? And, of course, we politely tell them we don't install any product except our own. So to answer your question, Bill, it's not on the list of things we have to deal with. That is probably out of 100 is probably 98.
Right. I get irritated just because it comes up on my feed, because this guy's paying for the ad and it gets put in my feed. And I don't know how good their filters are, or if he does geo-targeting. I don't know what he's doing, but it's amazing if they can spend money in geo-target and it gets in my feed.
Well, just remember, he has to pay for every time. I'd be clicking on that ad, I'd be clicking it and clicking it and clicking it a couple more times.
And of all the people on earth, Bill Dobman has to rank towards the very top of least likely to buy a shower door.
Yeah, but the guys in this group know it, but not this guy, wherever he's from.
Apparently this guy doesn't know.
Yeah, obviously, not yet anyhow. And Greg, maybe Robert, you can confirm. Greg, if I clicked on it, isn't it only unique visitors that he gets charged, or does he get charged every time the same guy keeps clicking on it?
I believe it's as many times. I think they do something to deter it, but that's why they have the difference in unique clicks and regular clicks. So you'll see that if you look within whatever ad platform you have, there's a lot of versions of what they're calling these clicks. And unique is where you know it came from an individual, and the other ones is where it came from repetitive people. Because some customers do come back and click it a few times. It's just that exact behavior where if they're paying for cost per click and they're running a cost per click campaign, because there's a lot of campaign objectives you can pick whenever you're running the ads. And if you pick that cost per click, look out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's nothing
people
stopping your competition from just clicking away and running through all your money.
Exactly.
I've seen something where they said it was unique clicks. I could be wrong.
They try to, and then there's such good tools to modify where I'm coming from. You could just put in a VPN and I can look like I'm in 6 different countries in the next hour.
I gotcha.
Just by clicking on the same link. I wonder how good it is to override that, but I know there's always that back and forth tool that can make us look elsewhere, that allows people in other countries to get access to our content and us to theirs, but the actual country doesn't allow it. But the VPNs do a good job of making you look like you're in another country. So that on that note, add 2-factor authentication to all of y'all's profiles, whatever it is. It's annoying. Add 3-factor if you want. Make it required for them to send a code to your phone or your email, or require your fingerprint or your face or your eye or whatever you're comfortable with. But there should be 2 ways to get into any account of yours. Because if you use your dog's name for your bank account number and your Facebook and your Instagram, and then this new weird app that you sign in for, all they have to do is hack one of these apps and find your email and your password. These apps don't have a lot of security. One of them that you use that has that same password, all they gotta do is hack that low-level back-end stuff, and now they go check that you're at Capital One Bank and try that same login. They're in. You don't have 2-factor authentication, or you have it only on your email, and they happen to have access to your email too. They have the code they need to get in and wipe yourself out, and you'll be fighting from behind the line. And hacking is on an all-time rise. Getting in people's accounts at all-time rise. So the links you click sometimes can really be the link that is giving them permission to get into your account, because they've already got the first steps done. They just need to hide a link to you and make you click it, and now they're in. So 2-factor all day, please.
But Rob, that's
absolutely right.
I mean, can't I just get like a chip put in my brain or something that like?
I'm signing up for it. I'll let you know how it goes. Please take me out if anything happens.
And Robert, I know you were joking, but you don't know how many people's passwords are their dog's names. I mean, that's a true story.
Yeah,
true,
I love my dog.
True story.
Yeah, like the #1 password is the word password.
Yeah.
Try that first if you're a hacker.
Damn it,
Yeah,
now I gotta go change my password, Chris. Thanks a lot, man.
Oh, and put the 1, 2, 3 after it.
1, 2, 3. That makes it stronger.
Speaking of hackers, you guys have done a fantastic job these past few weeks keeping them out of here. So good job with that.
Yeah, we're keeping them at bay. It's filthy.
So Chris, the next topic is, I see a lot of posts on there, and I don't know how many guys do this. Do a lot of guys really mix 1/2-inch glass and 3/8 on the same unit? Like if the door is kind of big, so they'll go 3/8 on the door and leave 1/2-inch in the panels for stability, or do they not just go 1/2-inch all the way?
That's not that unusual.
Yeah, we do it all the time.
I have it on my shower.
Yeah, I mean, why not just do 1/2-inch everywhere?
Well, we do a lot of 80 or 8-foot tall units, and the 1/2-inch makes too heavy for the hinges.
Oh, so it's a hinge situation.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
there are different hinges that pick up the weight and the width.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The
we
Playmates
just like
are
to keep the weight of the door down, kind of like what the other guy was saying is, like if it's a wider shower, like say it's like 70 inches, I'll do door in the center, two panels on the side, and then just do the 1/2-inch for the hinged hinge side.
Really? So you'll even mix the panels, and you never run into a clarity difference where the 1/2-inch has a little bit more green?
Not really. I'll try and keep them pretty small to where you don't really notice that much. I'll take a couple samples out there to kind of show the customer before we move forward and let them know, hey, there could be a slight color change. Typically they're not too privy on, on that. It doesn't make a huge difference, but if I show them, I just make sure that everybody's on the same page, because there are more picky customers out there. And if they don't like the color, we'll either just do 1/2 inch all the way across, or I'll just do all Starfire for that situation, because there's really no color difference at that point.
Well, it's funny. We have a display set up to show the difference in thickness and clarity, and we paint the wall white and put the glass on there on standoffs. And if you stand back and you got 4 to compare to 3/8 regular, 3/8 low iron, 1/2 inch regular, 1/2 inch low iron, you can be 20 feet away and you can tell which panel is which just by the color difference. And there is a difference between low irons. Between the 3/8 and 1/2 inch low iron, you can see the difference. But you have to look for it.
Yeah.
You got to pay attention for it.
Yeah, and as a sales tool, I like it. But as far as like customers seeing it, we've done it. If we haven't done it 1,000 times, I'll be shocked. Where it's 1/2 inch panel and 3/8 door, and you're not you don't have a white panel inch behind the glass. You're looking at a shower with 3 foot deep before you see the tile. So we've never had 0 complaints. No, maybe I'll jinx myself. It'll happen tomorrow, of course, but we just haven't had any issues.
And when you do that, are you doing it whether it's a neo or a straight inline? You'll even do it on the inline?
Oh yeah, all the time.
And you don't, or nobody's complained that the glass is like the 1/2 inch is more proud on the inside than the 3/8? Wow.
Nope.
And are you guys using 1/2 inch for all your panels, or are you doing some of your panels in 3/8 as well?
Well, if they buy 3/8, everything gets 3/8. If they buy 1/2 inch, everything is 1/2 inch. I don't mix them. I don't mix them. But okay, so Dana was saying it's a hinge thing. That's probably why, because the pivots
That
can
explains it, huh, Bill?
Pivots can hold
have
it.
that
Right.
issue with the
Yeah, I'm just surprised. I'm seeing posts and guys are talking about mixing 3/8 and 1/2 inch. I'm going, why?
Cheaper.
Cheaper.
It's
What?
Cheaper, lighter. We've got a glass to
It's
glass
lighter,
pivot,
right?
a glass to glass pivot in the showroom with an
Yeah.
inline panel, panel 1/2 inch with 3/8 door.
Really?
Yep.
And usually it has to do with the color of the tile. If it's a dark tile, you're not going to see the difference.
I agree with that.
You get to a lighter tile, then we do Starfire.
But there's guys quoting these. They're giving you a rough drawing, and these guys are saying that tile hasn't even been done yet. This is just, they went out to the job site and these people want quotes, or sometimes you're even quoting it off of blueprints, when the job's even before the house is built.
Oh yeah.
Or you're doing hotels or something like that. And these guys are
When I was on
bidding
my own,
that
Bill,
way.
I did that because I was trying to save money, because I was trying to make it make me more competitive to the marketplace.
Mm-hmm. I understand now, but I don't know. I just find it odd.
We do it frequently whenever we're hinging a door off of a fixed panel. We'll use a 1/2 inch fixed panel and then hinge a 3/8 door off of it. If they want to pay for it all to be 1/2 inch, then we'll do 1/2 inch. But otherwise, not most of them, but we're kind of cost effective in a way. We're trying to make it as affordable as possible to an extent. So we'll do 1/2 inch with 3/8. And then also sometimes we're thinking about like our guys and installing it. Like if we're doing a fixed panel with a door, and if there's a return panel of some sorts that's like 60 by 90 or something like that, well, we're going to try all day to sell it in 3/8 if we can, so just depending on it. So, but we do have, our go-to is 1/2 inch. Once it gets over 96 inches, we switch over to 1/2 inch just to keep it from bowing and stuff like that. That's usually what we do. So, but we mix it, and we've never had any complaints. And I've never really even looked for it, honestly, the difference in it. And I've never seen it just by looking at the glass afterwards. But maybe I'll notice it if I pay attention to it. So, but none of our customers have ever noticed it either.
It's probably, Dan, it's probably like that, right? You get a guy wallpaper and he knows where he makes a mistake. And if he points it out to you,
Yeah.
then your eye goes to it immediately. If he doesn't point it out to you, you would have never seen it.
Same thing. Yeah. Like if there's a,
Yeah.
if there's a defect in the glass and the customer has seen it and you try to repair it or something, it seems like you can never repair it good enough to
Right.
where it goes away just because their eyes gravitate towards it. And
Yeah.
it's just at that point, like I've even done it before where like, let's just replace it because there's no way that you're not going to see it anymore because you've seen it and there's no way it's going to, you're just going to gravitate towards it. So let's just end it and replace it and fix it. So it's usually the easiest thing to do.
All right.
I guess, Daniel, we do the same thing. We mix 1/2 inch and 3/8 pretty regularly. And you all can definitely tell me that I don't understand because I am not from this industry, but having not industry, and when I explain it to a customer, it makes logical sense to me to have a thicker panel managing the weight of an operable piece that is slightly thinner and reduced weight. And it's less about the hinge for me and more about having a more sturdy panel that it's not going to flex as much as a thinner panel. And if you do 1/2 inch on 1/2 inch, in my mind, it's negating it. Why wouldn't you do 3/8 on 3/8 at that point? It's just negating what you need, that difference between the two, because the panel is supporting an operable piece.
The opposite argument to that is somebody would ask you and say, well, then Christina, you're saying that 1/2 inch is heavier and stronger than 3/8. Is that a correct assumption? So if that's the case, you want me to feel comfortable with a thinner door? The door that I operate every single day, wouldn't you want me to have a stronger, heavier, more stable door? Isn't that a greater chance of breaking than the panel?
Yeah, good point. But then at that point, why wouldn't you do everything in thicker glass? And then at that point,
That's my point.
And then
Yeah, but you do 3/8 glass all the time too, right?
You can. Yeah, but then everything's the same. I'm just looking at consistency. That's all.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I
I-
see where you're coming from, Bill. I really do. And that's a great sales pitch too. And I used to be back in the day, I would always try to sell everybody 1/2 inch everything. And just like steer them away from anything 3/8 and be like, yeah, 3/8 really a frameless. This I'd be like, really, a heavy glass shower is 1/2 inch. I mean, people use 3/8 glass because they're cheap, and they want to save a little money or whatever. But really, if you want a real genuine, bona fide frameless shower enclosure, you really want 1/2 inch.
Chris, were you doing your installs?
Yeah. It was.
He used to say that as he's getting older. Now he's
I was
down to
younger.
5.
Pretty soon it's
5/16.
Yep,
Exactly.
5/16.
Exactly. No, that sounds pretty good now.
Now you
Very
need that
popular.
3/16 stuff. That's what you need.
Is it not in the specs for CRL hardware for it to be a 1/2 inch fixed panel, no greater than 22 inches? Is it that's usually our default is to say, hey, our vendor recommends this fixed panel to be 1/2 inch glass. So that's what we're going to go with. And then the rest of it, it can be 3/8 or it can be 1/2 inch. It's up to you, we kind of educate them on the difference of that portion of it. But this has to be that in order to do what you want, so we can do glass to glass or we can do a header and, we don't have to do 1/2 inch glass. So, but that's kind of our fallback is we usually go back to the manufacturer stuff, which I'm not mistaken. I thought it was 1/2 inch fixed panel with no greater than 22 inches around that number.
All right. So let me challenge you.
Please.
I'm going to be that nightmare customer for you. All right. Just give you a challenge. So you're saying that. So I would say, so which manufacturer is telling you that? Your hardware or your glass?
Hardware manufacturer.
You said, so you don't have a brand. So what you're doing is you're buying something from someplace and something from somewhere else?
Absolutely. We buy our hardware from one manufacturer and glass from another one who's.
Okay. So your hardware manufacturer is saying that you should use that. And that hardware manufacturer doesn't make anything to hold a 1/2 inch glass then in this application?
You lost me. Say it one more time, Bill. I was
So-
trying to think of my answer before I had it, before you were done speaking.
Well, if your manufacturer is telling you that you should use 3/8 door on a 1/2 inch panel,
Mhm.
so in effect, what you're saying is that hardware manufacturer doesn't make hardware strong enough to hold 1/2 inch glass off a 1/2 inch panel.
Yeah, they do.
Well,
Yeah.
well, if they did, he wouldn't have made that suggestion.
But
Well,
then
that
if you
includes
go
the
to the
solution-
senior, I
the
use a lot of
solution-
CPH07 hinges.
Oh,
Right?
no,
You switch to 1/2 inch, you gotta
How-
use the senior, and it's twice as big,
Tim,
Yeah.
I get that.
and it's
All,
ugly.
all I'm saying is I'm being his nightmare customer.
I would
Obviously-
essentially say they make a different hinge that we can use in lieu to support a 1/2 inch door if we wanted to use 1/2 inch glass all the way around. So
Okay.
I would say that yes, they have made a hinge applicable for 1/2 inch glass with glass to glass, you know. So, but that's a different hinge. It'll be the same look. It's just a different style hinge. You know, it'll support the weight for 1/2 inch with 1/2 inch. So
Are
It's a
you,
lot bigger.
would you recommend that?
it depends on your budget. If you're looking for something that's cost effective, no, I wouldn't recommend it. If you're looking for the best of the best, yes, we can go with that.
Okay, so now we're going down the rabbit hole of cost. So now it's a cost issue, not a strength or its durability issue. Am I right or wrong?
Well, it's a
You're
multiple
right.
of those things, and from
Yeah, it's an all-inclusive thing. It's this whole job is your budget is in mind, the application is in mind, everything. We have to keep all of that in mind when we're selling the job.
So-
But what I want is what's best for you. So
All right, so if you go out and quote a customer, are you giving him those options?
we give them the options. We do not actually quote in field. So we actually take the measurements back and we kind of let them know, hey, if you do it this way, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. You know, it'll be more than if you do it this way, but we'll actually get you an exact cost and we'll send you 2 different estimates once we run it through our spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We don't actually tell them, we don't tell them numbers in the field because aren't set up like that yet. So
So how many times when you go out in the field are you competing against another company?
knowingly or unknowingly, because I just lost a job for $230 because I didn't know I was competing against somebody, you know. I mean, I kind of, you always know you're competing, but still, you know, it's like, you didn't even give me a chance. It's like, you didn't give me a chance to come down $230. Jesus, come on. Like I could figure that out somewhere.
These are some of the things we run by our salespeople. That's the only reason I'm challenged. I'm not trying to be a pain in the ass. It's just that you gotta expose yourself to all the other options. Like if I'm out quoting a job, right? And somebody, I assume everybody's shopping. Just assume that, right?
Our assumption is that homeowners are actually, and this is so hard compared with builders versus homeowners, our homeowners almost sometimes get better freaking pricing than builders because they are shopping with multiple people and they are all about price. So we assume that any homeowner job is mostly about price if they've contacted us and they have not been referred by anybody. If they've been referred by somebody, then they trust us more and we can sell them more on that. But if it's somebody who just found us, they're on price. And we kind of go in knowing that ahead of time based off of where they came from.
So
yeah, Bill,
I'm
we're not
going
seeing
in
the
on-
market, but we're not seeing the market push for 1/2 inch. I mean, I'm seeing a low iron push, but I'm not seeing a 1/2 inch push. If you say to me what's happening and do we lose jobs for 1/2 inch? No, I can't remember the last time I lost a job because it wasn't 1/2 inch. Occasionally designers will spec 1/2 inch, but I don't see the market pushing for a lot of 1/2 inch. Now, maybe Florida's different. That's quite possible. But what do I see? We're seeing, you know, of course, frameless and low iron, a push towards low iron. But I'm not seeing a 1/2 inch push. So from my point of view, it's extra weight. The guys hate the extra weight. So I'm trying to keep that weight up. The shop floor hates the extra weight, a 1/2 inch. And then I got to stock a lot more 1/2 inch. So for me, it's 3/8 until the market tells me to go 1/2 inch.
Yeah, Greg, I totally agree. I mean, we sell more 3/8 than anything. right? And that's the number one SKU is 3/8. We try and push the market because we can, because we have the hardware that can hold it without those problems.
Right.
Correct? So we have no problem. So if I go in and I'm looking at a quote and somebody's showing me that they've got a 1/2-inch panel hinging a 3/8 door off it, I'll point that out to the customer because most guys don't tell the customer that. It'll be somewhere written. I don't want to say it's deceiving, but they don't go out of their way to point it out. And there may be a little footnote somewhere that says 1/2-inch or 3/8 door to relieve load weight or whatever they want to say. But I'll look at the customer and say, do you know that they're mixing this? You're not getting the same type of glass in the door and yard panel. Is that what you wanted? And they'll say, well, no, nobody ever mentioned anything like that. So, oh, okay, well, just so you know, we're looking at this way. And we'll win a lot of jobs that way. Just because somebody's put it down there, but they didn't really clarify why or anything. They may have a drawing with an arrow going, said this panel's 1/2-inch and this is 3/8. The average customer doesn't know what they don't know. And if it doesn't get pointed out to them, no big deal. But if they go to their neighbors and they see the next one, go, man, why does his feel so much stiffer and stronger and heavier? And then they find out, even though they have identical showers because they're in one of those track house neighborhoods and they all have the same shower, but they compare. Hey, how'd they do yours? And they start looking at it. So we're always conscientious of that. And we use that as a selling tool. Like,
Yep.
Do you know that that's what you're getting here? Is that what you wanted? Or it'll say, do you know why they don't go 1/2-inch? They don't, because their hardwares can't handle it. So I don't know how comfortable you feel about that. And just leave it that way.
Will handle 1/2-inch.
Well, the reason why they wouldn't put a 1/2-inch door on that is because their hardware, the very first thing that came up tonight was because of the weight.
Yeah.
That
So
was
that's your senior pivot hinge.
Yes.
That's your 3/8 pivot hinge. So, I mean, it's king size when you go to 1/2-inch.
Yeah.
1/2-inch glass is king size over 3/8 too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's understandable.
Yeah, and to your point, Bill, I think it just comes down to the education part when we're out in the field selling it, or sales guys are out selling it. And we kind of, sometimes I get in the thing of over explaining stuff out in the field. But to Daniel's point, where we kind of, because we mix it, like I said, pretty much all the time. I'm thinking also, like Greg's point is, the guys in the shop or who are actually out there installing it. And then also, I guess it could go to the point of the hardware not supporting it, but I'd like to keep, adjustments to a minimum as well. So if I can alleviate, the possibility of that door coming loose, just keep it at the 3/8 just to keep the weight down. And that's kind of how we sell it. And like I said, back to the education part, it's just explaining that to the customer, like, hey, this is what, your options are. Because typically they don't like running the header bar across the top. So then we'll add that other panel. One thing that I have started selling, which thanks to a lot of you guys out there, is doing the glass header across the top, which has helped tremendously. So kudos to that. So, but yeah, I think it really comes down to the education part and just explaining that to the customer fully. But yeah, I'm blessed because I got crappy sales guys that I'm selling against. So they normally don't explain anything. So every time I come in, if I'm selling against somebody, I come in like a rock star because they're just like, oh, well, they didn't say that. They just said, oh, this, and this. And, they're real short with them or whatever. So it just works out in my market.
That's my point. Exactly my point. You've got the knowledge. And then if some of these customers will show you the other quotes. I mean, they won't just say, hey, I got another quote from a guy down the street. They're going to show you those quotes. And
We love it when they show us quotes.
Blow me away when I see the way some of these are done. Just, it's crazy.
Well, and if it's a real low, Bill, if it's a real low quote, I always say the same thing. They'll call us, well, will you match their quote? No. But if it's really low, I'll say, I've been doing this a long time. That is an incredibly competitive quote. If I were you, I would end this meeting and pick up the phone and call them and get that shower ordered for them. I think they might have made a mistake on the price. You need to get on the phone and get that ordered.
Most of the times we won't match a quote unless they show us it and let us know and actually physically show us what it is. And we want to see who it's coming from and stuff like that before before we say anything, And then even then it's got to be within a reasonable amount before we match something. And then it's got to be from somebody we know who's proper.
Yeah, we just had a really cool seminar of how you handle that. I can get it from the guy down the street for $200 less. Will you match it? Well, first of all, if you can get it 200, why are you even back here? You're back here because you want us to do the job. So that $200 wasn't the real issue. It was really more of a bargaining tool that you're trying to use. And say, okay, but if you buy it down the street, do you know what you don't get? And they'll just stand there and says, us. You don't get us. You may get the glass, you may get hinges. You don't get all the years of knowledge and the backstory. So when this does go out of adjustment, you can pick up the phone and we got people that are going to answer it and go there. That's a big difference. You also have the trust and reliability of dealing with somebody that's been here forever, as opposed to somebody you just saw on Facebook Marketplace. Right? You don't even know where they're located.
No.
It's not even a local area code. So they're coming from wherever. It's just
we got a call today from a gentleman said, hey, my door's out of adjustment, or the sweep or something along those lines needs adjustment. You did our door just a couple of years ago. Can you send somebody out? So I forward the email, and then scheduling comes in and says to me, oh, we quoted that door. We never sold it. Our favorite phone call, politely. Hey, Mr. Jones, we saw that we actually did quote that job, but we don't show a record of actually ever selling that. So I don't think you bought that door from us. If you have paperwork that shows differently, certainly let us know. Sometimes it might have gone under a different name or something, but we track addresses and we don't see anything. And then a very short reply. Oh, yeah, sorry, we thought it was you.
Yeah.
So, and you're like, okay, how did that $200 savings work out for you? Now you're going to have to chase whoever sold you the door.
Yeah, precisely.
The other couple of weeks ago, I think, Bill, you're asking about doors exploding and stuff like that. On the way out today, when I was locking up the shop, I saw a sticky note on my dad's desk, and it just called back a customer that has a door that exploded. So I will be interested to see what is actually going on there with an exploding door. This will be interesting.
The old exploding door trick.
Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, and you got to be so careful how you handle it. So careful, because these people are so quick to go on the keyboard or call a local TV station. And it's just,
if you handle it. Well, first we'll have to figure out if we're going to handle it.
Yeah, of course. Oh, we got a bad review for somebody that we chose not to handle it. It wasn't one of our doors, and it was an exploding door, and they wanted us to clean it up and get a new door. And we just chose, no, it wasn't ours. The glass doesn't match. It's like buying wallpaper out of different dialogues. If you're not getting it from the same supplier, the color's not even going to match. And you're not going to want to listen to us to say, well, you really should change the whole enclosure, because you don't need a whole enclosure. And I'm telling you that now, but we shouldn't be touching it.
Well, if you have a door explode next to a panel, if that happens, we replace the panel as well.
Right.
So,
it's usually chipped, or it's usually scratched or something anyhow. Or the hardware that's holding that panel is scratched. You got to take it out anyhow.
Yeah.
I agree.
We usually also tell them that the new door is not going to look, if you're going to have a brand new door that's nice and clean next to a panel, if they haven't maintained it, it's going to it's not going to look natural, not going to look good. So if it's within, if it's just a door and panel, just replace the panel too, because it's going to look weird with a brand new door and soap scum panel that you never cleaned. Yeah, you don't tell them that, but
it's different when it's a 6-piece custom, though.
Exactly. So
you have a whole different tactic then.
It's interesting, Bill, that you got a bad review for sticking to your guns and not touching somebody else's work.
Yep.
Why did they get mad? There's a lot of other customer or companies out there to do the work.
So they wanted us to do the work.
They thought they would be the one
Maybe they
Yeah.
called 10 other customers or 10 other glass shops and didn't get anybody to pick up the phone. So we're the first ones to pick up the phone. I don't know.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting that they get mad at the guy who says, I'm going to hold to my higher standard of quality
Yeah.
and not touch somebody else's work.
Yeah.
And then they get mad and give you a bad review.
It's like me bringing a Toyota to a Mercedes dealer and they're going, no, I'm sorry, we don't touch it. Well, same thing, but they didn't look at it that way.
Yep. You're a glass company. You should be taking care of it. Well, yeah, I
That's
had a
right.
gentleman politely walk out of my showroom. I don't like your policy. I said, I'm sorry, sir. It's not our product. I can't, once I touch it, I own it. So it's,
That's it.
That's
we're-
right.
we're- yeah, so.
They try everything, Greg, right? Try to embarrass you,
Yep.
try and make you
Oh,
feel
I won't,
guilty.
I won't hold you. I won't hold you responsible. The biggest
Yeah.
lie in the glass business.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes. My threshold's pitched out. So why don't you just put a dam there? I won't hold you responsible if it leaks.
Yeah, I won't hold you
Sit.
responsible.
Why don't you
So,
just have the tile guy fix it? Oh, you are the tile guy. You did it.
yeah.
I get
So,
that
but-
a lot.
You know, I do 100 showers a year, so you should do this for me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, sure.
So, and they're just frustrated because they're trying, they made a poor decision on whoever they bought the shower door from originally, and the guy's not around anymore. Now they want you to bail them out. And
Yep.
It's
that's
probably
not what
a-
I'm here for.
It's probably a Lowe's or a Home Depot dreamline.
Yeah.
Yep, that's possible.
It is possible. Anyhow, that was interesting. We went down an interesting rabbit hole there.
That was a good discussion. Good job, Bill. I mean,
Yeah.
I really like talking about this kind of stuff because it's interesting to see how people react to the way, when you bring something like that up. It's just kind of a question about how you're doing sales and are you offering people an opportunity to upgrade, really? I mean, that's really what you're saying. And it's like people get a little bit, almost a little bit defensive, about it. It's like, well, like about why, they don't really want to do that. But really what you're offering people is just the opportunity to sell more glass, more expensive glass, right? I mean, really, isn't that what we're here to do? We're here to sell more, bigger glass. So, so it's going to hurt the guy's back, right? Oh, the installers aren't going to like it if I sell a bunch of half-inch glass. Well, get bigger installers.
Easier said than done.
Yeah.
Much easier said than done.
Yeah.
I think that makes a good kind of business owner, though, that you're constantly looking out for all aspects of the job. You're looking out for your installers, you're looking out for your wallet, you're looking out for the customers. You got all those things in your mind when you're selling a job. My question would actually be, how do you instill that in your sales reps that are not directly related to ownership of the company? Like, how do you get that mindset instilled in a regular sales rep that is just doing sales and they're looking out traditionally more for their paycheck, I would assume?
Well, it depends how you structure their pay. Like, their bonuses are based on a net profit. So I don't want them selling 6,000 single doors at $500. I'd much rather them selling 300 single doors at $1,000. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
They're looking at the total dollar sale, but not looking at the profit part of it. And we gear it that you will get a commission based on that, because that tries to eliminate even some measuring mistakes that are going to happen. So we give them a margin of error there because we're all human. We all make mistakes for one reason or another. But same thing is, I don't want them just giving doors away just to get their numbers up. So if I say to a salesman, you got to sell $20,000 a month, and this guy sells $20,000 a month because he sold 20,000 doors at $1 a piece. Well, he shouldn't get a bonus for that. I mean, that's an exaggeration, but you see what I'm saying. It's got to be within certain limits, and that's how they get paid, and they have to be responsible for that. So we know that if they go into the heavier glass, bigger glass, there's an upcharge for it. And it's a fair upcharge. And when you said, well, it's not always about the weight, sometimes about money, you're absolutely right. It is. And you have to give them those choices. But people will make those choices based on what they want. Funny part is you can't tell a customer by the way they look. There's people that you would think can't afford a thing and they could probably buy you 10 times over. And there's other people that play the part that they look like they're worth a lot of money and they're in debt, you know, to their eyeballs. So you can't tell, you just give them the options and go from there. But I was really questioning you more that if you go in on a quote and they're showing you somebody else's quote and they got mixed glass, there's a huge opportunity there. Say, is that really what you want? You want them to cheapen the door on you? Did you even get an option of going with something heavier to match it? And so it's more of a sales technique. And it's not that it's wrong. It's not wrong to put a 3/8 door and 1/2 inch. That's totally fine. But as a sales technique, I think if you're aware that it's probably going to be quoted that way from somebody else, you've got a huge opportunity there.
No, I agree with that, Bill. I think that's a good point to bring up because that's true. Because before I wasn't doing that. We kind of shied away from mixing the two because of the color, and then got into some situations where my competitor was doing it, and we had lost a few of them because we were kind of just stuck in selling it with a header bar. Just because, look, I know that we're not going to have any problems with doing a header bar, and I think this is the way that you should do it. And then so we started doing a few. I started seeing more even on the Facebook page of guys posting it that way. So then we kind of changed it, and it's worked out really well for us. But to your point, I do like, you know, as far as pushing it as an upsell or something different to make it worth it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways of selling things. You know, I'm looking at guys, and when I post pictures, I mean, as a standard, we use 6-inch handles. And everybody goes, oh, that's obsolete. Everybody should be using 8-inch handles. Why? It's an option. We'll sell 8-inch handles if you want it, but this is our standard. Now, there's other guys that are using standard 8-inch. Now, is that because they bring it in stock glass that already has 8-inch spans on it, and that's why it's a standard, and they bought a whole bunch of...
We do exactly the opposite, Bill. We sell against 6-inch handles as stock. That 6-inch handles are something you see on a less expensive shower door. So that's our sales angle, is that everything's taller. Glass is 80, 84. You know, occasionally somebody will say, can I have a 72-inch high, a quote on a 72 high door? And I know right away they're like a Home Depot customer, because that glass is nowhere near tall enough. That shower head's at 7 feet. So whenever we see somebody with a 6-inch handle, I'm more, oh, that's that's like something you'd see on a stock door. Is that what you really wanted? And so we do exactly the opposite. And then,
we use them as a base. We use them as a base. We'll show them that, but we'll show them an 8-inch, we'll show them a 12-inch, and we'll show them a towel bar mounted vertically. It's a 24-inch handle. And they'll get all those options. 90% of them are going to the 6-inch. They said, no, this is fine.
Really?
Yeah. We sell.
All I do is 8-inch.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, your glass fab is the same. So it's just the hardware difference. That's all.
Yeah. I used to do 6 inches up to, I think, 72 or 78 inches tall. And then after that, it was 8-inch.
Yeah, it's funny. One of the pictures that I saw on there was a neo angle. And so the door was centered on 2 panels, and the guy was going to use 1/2-inch panels on the 2 wings, put a 3/8 door. And the first comment tonight when I mentioned that it's all about the weight and holding the weight. And yet the guy had one of those architectural handles on the thing, which is so goddamn heavy. It's almost as heavy as the glass.
Yeah.
And architectural, like a 4-foot or 5-foot back-to-back handle on it. On the Neo. I go, wait a minute, that takes the weight right out of the picture.
Yeah.
Those things are expensive too.
Yeah, no kidding. So it wasn't about money. Yeah. That's the funny part.
No, it wasn't about money at that point.
It's like people going in and buying, 5 subs to eat, and then they get a Diet Coke. I mean, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
When we get people that want those ladder pulls that are that big, we itemize that out on there so we can show them, hey, this thing is adding X amount of dollars to your shower door, just so you know. Like, you got this amount of money tied up in a handle. So it's your money. I don't care. It's what you like. We'll be willing to take your money, but that's how much you got tied up in a handle.
Mhm.
And we will itemize that out.
Sure. But you know, different things for different peoples. A change of a handle can give you a completely different look in that bathroom just by putting a different handle on it for whatever it is. Makes a world of difference.
So I got one for you. I had a customer that got a picture off of Pinehurst of a shower with the one panel, you know, half satin and half clear. And now she wants that. And I says, that's not cheap. You know, there's one way to do it with a frit pattern, and that's what, $25 a square foot plus the setup charge, or you can have it sandblasted. So, what?
Yeah, it's not easy to find people who do sandblasting anymore.
No, I got a guy that'll do it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I don't know if it's an
Here's a
EPA thing or what, but it used to be you get stuff sandblasted really easy. Now it seems it's hard to find people.
Does anybody
this is a
sandblast in house? Nobody sandblast in house?
I used to when I first started up. It was pretty
Yeah.
fun actually.
Yeah, we do it.
You need the space. All you need is just the space.
yeah, but it's a corner shower, so the front of it is clear, and the side of it, half of the sandblasted. What are you doing that for? You know?
Privacy, I guess, from certain angles.
Yeah, wait till she gets the price.
If she went to Pinehurst, I don't think it matters.
Yeah, but the rest of the house, the tree fell through, and they haven't fixed that part yet. But they're redoing this bathroom.
Yeah.
You know.
That's because they can't go to the bathroom near the tree anymore.
Yeah.
Anyhow, all right, guys.
Nice job, everybody.
Great talk.
Good talk. See you next
Good night,
week.
everybody.
All right,
See you
guys.
later.
Take care.
Good night.
Guys.